Hello, everyone. Welcome to Maddox AI and Post Sales Summit. You are currently watching Create an Insights Dashboard from Product Data with James Ofsharzak. I'm excited to introduce our speaker, and as I introduce them, I'm going to have them answer our icebreaker question. James, what's one AI use case you wish existed but haven't seen yet?
Okay, that's good. I'm going to take it the joke angle, and the use case that would be really helpful today is reaching out into the physical world and heating up my coffee every 30 minutes, because that seems to be a lot of what's going on today. And that helped me be a lot more productive. So, would
Okay.
love to see that. Yeah.
With the pace of innovation, it just might happen. James, I'll hand it over to you. Thank you so much.
Great. Thank you so much. Good morning. Okay, so I'm James. I lead the CS operations at a company called Hireology. It's an HR platform that's built for multi-location businesses across the automotive industry and other verticals. But I'm excited to share today what I have found. What I'm going to share on is how AI is enabling post-sale teams to be able to explore questions that's hidden in your data without the traditional reporting processes. But over the last few months, I've been experimenting with AI and our product data to help answer some questions faster and uncover insights that normally stay trapped in reports, rigid dashboards. But this is a simple approach that what I have been calling discovery dashboards. I'm not talking about reporting. Um, so what I mean is like most dashboards in customer success are reporting dashboards, executive dashboards, health dashboards, and operational dashboards that tell you what happened. That's valuable. There's a great place for that. But sometimes trying to answer a bigger question, like if you have a hunch, you notice a pattern, you see a signal that's buried somewhere within the product data. Reporting tells you what happened, but discovery helps us to figure out what to do about it. Um, so what we need isn't another dashboard for monitoring. We need a workspace for exploration. And so that's what I mean for by discovery dashboard. And thanks to recent AI development, that's becoming dramatically easier for a single operator to build out. So this approach has been particularly useful for me because I sit in CS operations and I have access to uh, a lot of customer data, um, product and operational data. But the bigger point isn't about CS ops, it's curiosity. So and the thing here is that you don't need necessarily a data science team. So my goal today is to show you how one operator can take the data that you already have available to you and turn it into actionable insights. Um, so if you have product usage data, whether it's a lot or a little, and access to tools like Claude or Google AI Studio, many of the traditional barriers to discovery work are starting to disappear. You don't need a data science team. You don't need weeks to wait for a new dashboard to be edited or built out. Um, so what I want to show is uh, I'll jump into it here, but what I want to show first is what I've built once we finally got some access to these tools. And remember, the goal isn't about building another dashboard. The goal is to explore a question. So I want to share two examples of some questions that I was curious about and how I have been using product data and and AI to explore them. So my first question is what expansion and risk signals should we surface for our team? Really common question, but we are beginning to build out some agents at my company. And as we've started that work, I've gotten really curious about our adoption data. I've started questioning, challenging some of the assumptions around health and risk that we have currently today. And before I share, just to let you know, I'm not an AI expert. I'm a CS ops practitioner who got curious and started experimenting. And then, secondly, what I'm going to show you is it combines revenue data, adoption data, and product usage um, in a way that historically would have taken a significant amount of effort to build. But if you have access to the data, this is far more achievable than most people realize. So just to jump in real quickly and share with you what you're looking at. This is a self-contained HTML dashboard that I can share across my team. I've used raw usage data um, to work with Claude to be able to surface up what you're seeing here. Anonymized data. This is a team view. I have an account view as well. This is looking across a few CSM's book of business, and it allows me to get curious about the data. Um, in a way I haven't been able to explore before. So, like, for example, being able to click in and look through active users, rooftop coverage, month over month trends, and then even being able to surface up something that I found very challenging before, which is adoption white space. So, what is our customer using? What are they not? What features um, are still to be unlocked? And so, um, this is just wanted to give kind of an example of what is possible with usage data, working with your AI tools, and some questions to now be able to go and unlock some discovery as it relates to the initiatives that are on the forefront of your mind. Um, so this is the end result. What I wanted to just share real quickly is what the input was. So I took raw month over month usage data, looking at some of our core features, uh, as well as specific feature usage data, and then even things like outcome data like applicants and hires. Um, and of course, to be able to build out what I showed you there, there's an underlying data layer as well, a signal model, which helps to flag risky behavior versus signs of health. And so um, for that, I actually didn't even do a ton of work myself. I worked with Claude to be able to expose the data and uh, query, what based on this data, give me some clear signs of customer health and risk. And so I just got to really work with the data to start surfacing up specific risk flags that we hadn't taken into consideration before. Um, Risk flags and a few signs of expansion health as well. Um, and even a criteria for what a healthy customer looks like versus a risky customer. So how I built it, what I had mentioned is really gathering the raw data, which I do have um, access to, but if you don't have access to it, even just whatever data you do have, you'll be really surprised at what you can generate. Um, so signal model with AI, building up that signal model with AI, and then making the data explorable. As I said, as an interactive HTML, I'm able to share with the team and work through the questions that I have. And so what I've seen from this is new insights, alignment, and new conversations. And some of our initiatives that this feeds have been accelerated as we've started to discover new insights and new ways of looking at our data. Um, okay, this next one is question we're all trying to dig into in this space. And that's we want our CSM spending less time on reactive work and more time delivering strategic guidance. And AI can help make that possible. One challenge that we face is that specifically at our company is some of our customers still think of us as a product job board when it's really designed to support the entire hiring life cycle. This is the question that we have been working with. And so before I dive into my process, just to set the tone here, we're trying to make our CSMs become more consultative. And one answer from our CS leadership is a new process, maturity scorecard, which is very helpful. Its purpose is to help CSMs to understand how our customers are using our platform today, what's happening inside of our platform against what they're taking care of outside of our platform, and any gaps or inefficiencies that exist. It's going to be an incredibly valuable tool for our CSMs. But when I first saw it, it sparked a totally a different question. And that's what if our product data that we have today could do some of this discovery for us? So instead of starting with a blank scorecard, we could start with a data-informed assessment and let the CSM validate it. So we have the data. We have really great data, but the challenge is reworking that data into a model to power something like this. That would take a lot of time. And this is something that's moving quickly. So I went ahead and took this into my process of discovery dashboard. So within this example, I didn't have the data the way that I needed it to be able to power something like this. And so I was actually able to work. Here we go. Let's see. Okay, so what I did was worked with this framework and this concept and actually spun up sample data in the way that I needed it to be able to power a dashboard like this. So an example, again, this is dummy data, not actual, but we've got our customers here, and I know that we're basing this off of stage and the status of each of these stages. Has the customer been activated? Are they effectively using it? Were they using it and then did they fall back? Had they regressed? And this is all data we have, but not yet in the way that we need it to power this. So even things like first activated date, last activated date. And so generating this data set and then working with my AI tool to be able to develop a dashboard like this, which once again just helps me to rework the data to visualize and do some discovery. So this is the same approach that I had used, was being able to spin this up. And this enabled me to be able to have conversations around what this could look like if we did have this data and approach these questions this way. So being able to break down a book of business by status or of each of those stage. Are they effective? Are they activated? Have they regressed? Activation rate. And again, a lot of this is just discovery, working with the tool to start to visualize and surface insights that I hadn't yet seen. Account profile breakdown, and then even working to surface up what this could look like as far as segmentation, like what actions could we take, whether it's from a digital perspective or CSM led. So this has been extremely helpful in furthering along what we are doing to help enable the CSMs become more consultative. My process here was understanding the vision of the leadership of where we were going with this, where we're going with this scorecard, and then generating that data set, which I had shared with you, and then spinning up a discovery dashboard that's aligned to that vision. And same approach that I had used before, and what resulted is just new insights. We hadn't really delved too far into regression, but that's really opened up a whole lot of new motions around that. And an alignment, stakeholder alignment, and a clear path forward, and actions taken. So I'm actively now working to curate that data in a way that we can move forward to power this initiative. And rounding things out here, I think so yesterday I walked my friend, a good friend of mine, through this presentation and what I've been doing, this discovery process. And he helped me to see something I didn't see before, which is that there's a gap between what ICs know, the friction that they feel, and then what leadership um, can see. And I think that these tools are now acting as a bridge or a translation layer to be able to have a shared language, and also just a clear understanding of the problem. And so it's been really neat to see how this has furthered along conversations. I'm an operator. I'm often very deep in the weeds, and I frequently notice patterns before I can fully explain them. And so what AI has really helped me to do was to turn these observations into something tangible, something that leadership could see and explore and respond to. So the real value it's not in the dashboard. It's really about creating a shared language between people closest to the work and the people making strategic decisions. And so with that, really my ending thought here is the encouragement is simple. Start with the initiatives that matter most to your business today, um, and work with your leadership to understand the questions that they're asking and assumptions that they're making and the outcomes that they're trying to drive. And then take those questions to the data and explore, challenge assumptions, look for patterns. You'll be really surprised at what is possible. I was and I am daily having a lot of fun in this, but I've been given the space to be able to explore as uh, and that's been extremely helpful to be able to uncover what I am and move forward the initiatives that we're working on. And then to leaders, I would say share what questions that you're wrestling with your team, with your team that's in the data, that's in the day to day. Provide some guardrails, but also just give some freedom to go and explore. Um, that is just a little bit of what I have been into, and that's how AI has really been um, helped shape my experience here. Um, and that's what I've got for you today.
Awesome. Thank you so much, James, for walking us through that. We still have about 7 minutes left in the session. So if anyone has any questions about what James walked you through or anything related to that, please go ahead and drop it into the Q&A box and I'll surface it for him. James, you did get a comment from Renee that said, great practical examples of surfacing data that can be hard for CSMs and their leaders to see and take action on. We'll go ahead and just wait a minute or two to see if there are any questions. And if not, we'll go ahead and end the session early. Holly asks, are there any use cases for scaled motions yet that you've tried out?
It it is there. This is so where we are within our at our company, we're about 2 months into um, really leaning into AI, and we have a few. What I really appreciate about the company that I'm at now is we do have a few directed um, initiatives that our team is focusing on. So we do have like really great framework to be able to work within. Um, and some of to answer your question, I think absolutely the work that we've done to what I had showed you just about the different stages and statuses that we can feed into that um, scorecard open up a lot of possibilities for customer segmentation as well within digital also. Like I think that what I had highlighted was how we're going to be able to really empower and support our dedicated CSMs to be more consultative and really that we deliver that scorecard to them to allow them to do that. Um, but that this also does open up the opportunity to be able to leverage that scorecard mentality at scale as well. Like if you don't have the CSMs that are working directly with those customers, there's certainly lots of digital motions that can spring from that. So yeah, that's where our head's at.
Awesome. Thank you, James. Last call for any questions for James. Otherwise, we'll go ahead and end this session. Catherine asks, do these dashboards update as data is updated, or is it primarily for static data sets?
What you saw there was just a self-contained HTML, and that's how I've been using these dashboards at this point. There are ways within Claude that you can set a schedule to update the dashboard weekly or daily, and be able to share that as well. We haven't really done that with this quite yet, as we're still thinking through what do we do with our current CSP and other tools, and keeping up with this conversation as things continually change day over day. Um, but yeah, what I had shared there was primarily a static data set for me to explore with these questions.
Awesome. And with that, we are at the end of our session. The recording of the session will be available tomorrow in our resource hub, and all summit attendees will be notified when the resource hub is live. Thank you again, James, our wonderful speaker, for joining us today. And thank you to everyone else for attending. Have a great rest of your day.
So much. Bye bye.